Sam Capoun and welcome to That's My Farm. Today we're heading to the Stevie Ranch, located just south of Paxico, Kansas. Earl and Heath Stuewe, along with their families, operate a cow-calf operation and have a few crops. Knowing Earl and Heath all of my life, there's one thing I have learned. These cowboys know no stranger, and there's always a cold beverage waiting for guests. Let's take a look.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome to That's My Farm. I'm your guest host, Sam Capoun, and today we're just outside of Paxico, Kansas with Earl Stuewe. Earl, tell me a little bit about your operation.
Well, the Stuewe Ranch is run basically by myself and my son Heath, and we got started when my dad and my mom got married. My uncle Merle Leitz and then his dad William Leitz, and that's when it basically got started. And then my uncle's retired, and my dad's in the rest home now, so it's up to Heath and I to run it now. But kind of a cow-calf, commercial cow-calf operation, and grow a little hay and a few row crops and some corn silage. Anyway, the ranch has kind of been running about the same way. It's grown quite a bit. We've got a few more cows than we started out with, and we wean our calves and keep them here at home and feed them through the winter till weigh about 850 to 900 pounds, and we sell them at St. Mary's at the sale barn there. They got a pretty good feeder market. I guess that's kind of an overview of the whole ranch.
So what's the importance of keeping these calves till they're about 800 to 900 pounds and then sending them off to sell them versus selling them right when they're...
We get to use a little of our own feed, like our corn and our alfalfa hay, and get them to weigh a little more, and so they bring more money and generate a few more dollars per cow that way.
So are you looking at changing any of your operation in the future, or are you sticking mainly to the cow-calf?
Yeah, I think we'll stay with the cow-calf. We like it, and about the only thing we keep considering is finishing out our own calves. We're getting quite a bit of proven carcass bulls and keeping our own replacements for years, and we keep toying with the idea of feeding our calves out at a commercial feed yard and taking them all the way to slaughter, but the feeder price has been so good here these last few years that we haven't done that yet.
Certainly.
We like to keep them at home. You can kind of control your input costs and stuff, and once they go to a feedlot, well, you're kind of at the mercy of the markets and what the corn prices and everything else is doing.
So tell me a little bit about the rain in your area.
Well, we've been really lucky this year. We've been getting a lot of rain, and we had a nice little shower this morning to cool things off, and the prairie hay and the brome is good. We're a little late getting our brome up just because of the weather, but yeah, it's turning off pretty good. And our alfalfa, we just finished our first cut in alfalfa. Well, I should say our first and second cut in alfalfa, because we put it all up at the same time. We just got that finished. Made lots of bales. It's just not quite the quality as it normally is.
So tell me a little bit about what it's done to the pastures for your cows.
Pastures look great. Yeah, they look better than they have for, I'd say, at least 4 years. And the ponds are full of water, and that's probably the first time they've been full since about 2011.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with That's My Farm.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm your guest host, Sam Capoun, and we're here with Heath Stevie, which is Earl Stevie's son. So Heath, more and more generations are being disconnected from the family operation. What's the importance of you coming back and helping your dad?
Oh, it's just you get everything put together. You like to keep it going, and hopefully my kids and my sister's kids will be able to take it over someday and keep it going for another generation.
So tell me a little bit about your day-to-day operation.
I pretty much take care of the cattle day to day, and Dad does a lot of the haying and farming, and we help each other. You know, we're needed all the time, but like when we're calving, I do all the checking and pretty much handle calving unless I have trouble and have to get Dad. We got Polaris Ranger. I run around and check all the cows and carry a cooler in the back with warm water and colostrum and some medicine, and kind of have it to where I could take care of most problems, you know, right out there as we find them. And then as we get cattle out to summer grass, I haul out all the mineral and check the fence and water gaps and kind of doctor what needs it. And then fall we wean the calves together, and then Dad does a lot of the feeding while I'm doing checking the calves and going and feeding the cows Dad's feeding the calves in the lots while I'm feeding the cows that are out in the pasture. And we get by pretty good doing that with a lot of, we run the cows on a lot of hay meadows that we've hayed earlier once they go dormant, and a lot of brome and fescue and cool season grasses, and get by feeding a little bit of corn gluten and not too much hay then until you get into December and start getting into colder weather.
So with all of the rain that we've been seeing in our area, have you had any problems with foot rot?
We've just started to doctor a few. We haven't had it too bad, but I actually helped a neighbor doctored 6 last Friday night, so it's starting. But with it being so muddy all spring and then the rock, you know, they're starting to bruise their feet up a little bit.
So tell us a little bit about how you doctor them.
Well, it just depends on the situation. A lot of times if we got horses there, we'll go out and head and heel them and stretch them out and doctor them that way. And if there's a pin handy and you got several of them, we'll go ahead and run them in the pin. And if I'm just out on the four-wheeler hauling mineral, sometimes I'll just use the dart gun and get them that way while save a trip coming back.
Oh, the dart gun is so handy. We use that on our operation. You just go out there and shoot it right in them and pick it up and on with your way.
Yeah.
So you guys are primarily on horseback, correct?
Yeah, we use horses a lot. I guess that's another thing I kind of do is I ride the young horses once we get them to the point. We usually have, if we buy a young colt, we have somebody start them for us and put on the first 60 days. So they're not just real green when we're trying to get a job done on them, because we're kind of limited on time to just ride the horse without working at the same time. But horses are a big part of our operation. We drive cows up to 9 miles down the road and rotate them between pastures, drive a lot of our pairs out in the spring, and they don't ever see a trailer, until we wean the calves. So it saves us a lot of time and a lot of work, loading and handling those cattle, but by being able to use the horses to do it.
Well, certainly. All right, well, thank you, Heath. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with That's My Farm.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. We're here with Heath Stevie again. So Heath, tell me about what you're going to be doing today.
Oh, today we're going to rotate some cattle. We actually calve in this pasture that we're going to be leaving, and so we're going to get them out of there so it can grow back and have plenty of cover for when we start calving. And we've got a couple other small pastures that aren't big enough to put cattle on for the full summer or this number, but not big enough to really justify having a bull on all summer by themselves, but we'll rotate them through these other pastures.
So what's the importance of rotating cattle throughout the year?
Oh, it just lets your grass have a rest, and one area will grow back and they can kind of go in and hit another area hard for a short time, and then you get them off of it. So every area has plenty of chance to rest and recover, get the grass to grow back.
I know we've had issues on my operation where the cattle will kind of stand in the corner and stomp it out, or maybe they have lots of flies on them so they're trying to herd together. Are you guys seeing any of those issues?
Yeah, there's been a lot of flies this year, and I actually took a trip to Wichita and I went down the turnpike and came back up 177, and the pastures all the way along are that way, so it's not just limited to this area, but the cattle are trying to get high up on the hills, and a lot of the corners are up high, and cattle like to stand in there where the wind will help with the flies a little bit, and they can huddle together and stomp at them.
So are you treating anything for flies?
We do. We've got a sprayer in the back of our Ranger. We're actually going to pin these cattle that we're moving today and spray them for flies before we move them.
Tell me a little bit about your bulls that you have.
We've been buying our bulls for quite a few years now from Earl Ranch, and our herd's pretty much straight Angus at this point. We've had some Semitol cross cows to start with, and then we've been breeding Angus bulls for a long time, and we're actually starting to move back to that just a little bit. We've bought a few half Semitol, half Angus bulls now that we're trying out and kind of seeing if we're gonna keep the consistency in our calves and get a little bit more growth out of them.
So for keeping this consistency, I know your dad had mentioned keeping retained ownership. What's the importance of having these Angus traits for the retained ownership?
Oh, just the carcass qualities, and then just the growth. We buy really high growth Angus bulls. Usually everything's got at least a 1,300 pound yearling weight. It just makes for calves that they're small coming out, so you don't have a lot of calving trouble, and then they do really well and grow from then on. And we get them up to, like the ones that we're having in March, we'll start selling those in late December, weighing 850, 900 pounds. So.
All right, stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with this segment of That's My Farm.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotating cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com. Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. We're here again with Heath Stevie. So Heath, the big topic in the industry today is low-stress cattle handling. So tell me a little bit about why you guys choose to use horses for this low-stress maintenance.
Oh, you can take everything a lot slower with horses than you can with ATVs, and like going down the roads, you can slip up through the ditch and around cattle, without making any noise, and it lets fewer people, move a big group of cattle because you don't have to have somebody staged ahead at all the holes. And anyway, it just fits our operation pretty good. The horse can move sideways a lot better than an ATV can, and those cows sometimes will try to take their calf and head for the brush. So
certainly. So typically, how many people do you have helping you guys when you're moving cattle?
Oh, it just depends on the bunch and the distance. We do a lot of trading with neighbors to get enough labor for the big days with just Dad and I. We've got neighbors that come out and help us in the spring when we're dragging calves, and then we'll go help them ship their yearlings, because our busy times of year are offset a little bit from each other. And I'm fortunate to have really good neighbors and a lot of good friends they're good cowboys. They're professionals, they do it all the time too, and just works really well when we can trade with each other and not have to hire a lot of that help.
So tell me a little bit about how you break your horses.
Oh, we usually have someone start them. I'm not against buying a 4 to 6 year old colt or horse that's going really well. If we start getting our using horses a little older and we haven't got that done yet, we'll buy a colt from a good sale. We've bought a lot from Stouts, and this one came from Jameson's, and bought a couple from Hubbard's now. But anyway, when those colts get 2 years old, we'll have somebody ride them in the fall. We've got a neighbor who does a really good job of it, and he'll put 30 days on them in the fall and then another 30 days on them the following spring when they're 3 years old. And then we'll kind of take them from there and start using them on the ranch, and just slow work, little jobs first. And then as they progress and get to being able to handle more, we'll get to dragging calves first, and then we'll get to doctoring. And when they get ready to start doctoring yearlings, when you're having to run them down and ship yearlings, that's when they're kind of ready to be a horse. And when the horses get older, we've always got a good market for them, if we want to sell them when they get to 14, 15 years old, because the people that have roped with us, they want them, or they want them for one of their kids, and the older ranch horses are really valuable too.
So how many do you typically keep around at one time?
I usually have at least 2, and then we usually have Dad will have 1, and we'll have at least 1 spare. We're probably not going to sell any now with my sister's kids getting old enough to ride. Those old ranch horses will stick around to babysit and teach them as they get to going, helping in the pasture.
So how do you keep up with the maintenance on the horses? How often do you shoe them, maybe take them to the vet?
Our shoer comes every 8 weeks, and then he'll come back and nail one on if we lose it. This spring with the wet weather has been really bad about
I'm sure.
losing shoes, and other than that, we just worm them and vaccinate them every spring, and we're lucky to have a couple pretty good horse vets in the area. If something does go wrong that's beyond our ability to diagnose or treat, we can go to them and they'll get us fixed up. So.
Well, good deal. He looks like a crazy horse, so I'm sure you never ride him, right?
Yeah, this one's 12 years old now, so he's pretty much been there and done that.
Yeah, he looks good.
He brought my good one when I had to be on TV.
Well, thanks, Heath. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with That's My Farm.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm your guest host, Sam Capoun, and this summer we did a little segment at the Stevie Ranch, and they were bringing the cow and calf pairs off the pastures. And we thought it'd be important to follow this story, so we're back a couple months later, and we're here with Earl, Stevie. So Earl, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing today.
Well, the calves, we usually try to get those weaned in September. So they've been weaned and they're pretty well straightened out now. And we're running them through and we're sorting the heifers from the steers. Might mention it's the 1st of November now. And anyway, we're sorting the heifers from the steers today, and we've got all the cows moved off the pastures that they were in all summer, because our typical grazing season on our summer grass is 1st of May till the 1st of November. So we got that pretty well done, and the cows are on some cool season grass and some corn stalks, and that's basically where they are now, and we're not feeding them yet because they got pretty good grazing for another month or two. But anyway, the calves back here behind us that they're working while we're sorting the heifers from the steers, and then we're going to run them through tomorrow and revac all of them and pour them and implant the steers. And the heifers will all be calf hooded, and we'll sort the ones that we're going to keep for our herd off, and then the remainder of them, the better heifers, the remainder of them will probably be sold here in February, and they usually have been going back to the country for replacement heifers. Somebody buys them and takes them back into their own herd. So that's what they're doing behind us, and we're going to turn these steers out here pretty quick because we don't have time to work them all in one day. We're going to get them all sorted today, and then keep the heifers in and work the heifers tomorrow, and then the steers, we'll get them back in another day and run them through and work them.
Now, what will you do with these steers after you put them back out?
We'll feed them till they weigh about 8.5. We'll probably start selling some mid-January, and probably have most of them all gone by the end of February. And we just sort a potload of them out at a time, and then just keep cutting the heavy end off, so we get a pretty nice even potload of calves that way. And it kind of helps sell when you have a whole potload that can go to the same order buyer and then to the same feedlot. They feed them all in the same pen, and they kind of like that. They do a little better that way. So that's the plan with the steers. And then, like I say, the heifers will probably hold them till the end of February. And then we'll try to sell them a potload at a time, and maybe have 1 or 2 potloads that'll go back to the country to somebody else.
So how are the cattle looking this year with the cattle market?
Well, I mean, it's a lot lower, but it's still really good. I mean, the cow-calf man, you know, getting $1,300 or better for a steer, why, that's still a lot better than it used to be. So it's not as good. I suppose it's $35 a hundred lower than last year.
Certainly. Well, thanks for joining us, Earl. Thanks for watching That's My Farm. Make sure you check back in next Friday.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.